Welcome back, Bobcat fans. SKS here with another episode of the Texas State Bobcats Dynasty. We're coming off an amazing season, probably one of the best ones we've ever had. Ranked 20th, 11-2, and we're going to the offseason. What will happen? Who will we get? We were up there for a high ranking in the classes. We'll see what it all boils down to this episode. Let's move forward. Brett Conquest having an amazing coaching career. 7-5 that first year, 9-4, 10-3, 11-2, back-to-back Sun Belt Conference champions, back-to-back New Orleans Bowl. Now, the thought this year is, do the Texas State Bobcats move up? Do they change conferences? We're going to find out. So we kept our defensive coordinator. Jesse Broussard is still with us, but it looks like Steven Johnson left us. He took off for a new job. Oh, he is the head coach of Troy now. And we picked up Chad Dorsey. Safe for now. All right, so that was our coaching change. Nothing super major there. Coach Conquest picks up a new offensive coordinator. Coach Conquest calls most of the calls himself, so that's not a big deal. This is the button that I hate. We're losing a lot of players this year, and it's going to be really sad. But we'll try not to cry. Justin Horn, pro draft. He is projected to go in round 6. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Oh, man. I don't think it tells you if they get drafted or not, but Justin Horn, well-deserved. Look at his stats through the years. He had an amazing 2016. That 181 quarterback rating. My Lord. And his passing yards just through the roof, setting all these sorts of records. 89 passing touchdowns. Only 8 interceptions that year, so he got progressively better at putting the ball where he needed to. His yards per game went up. His completions went up. I mean, that is a lot of growth. Some team, he may be a backup, but maybe he'll get his chance, and that's what matters. I hate to see him go, but Justin Horn has definitely earned it. And look at that awareness. That guy's going to learn. He's going to succeed at the next level. I'm ecstatic by that. That makes me feel so good about Justin Horn. Even though it's a low round, that is going to be our first draft pick. That is awesome. Looking at some of the other players that are leaving, Sean Perkins, senior, been here with us for ages. The dude just can play. He was out there on a number of plays. Didn't give up any sacks in 2016. 3 pancake blocks. Gotta love it. Ronnie Edwards. We've called Ronnie Edwards from Corsicana, Texas for a long time. Ronnie Edwards give us 3 amazing years. 25 total sacks. 44 tackles for losses. 64 total tackles. Scored a defensive touchdown. What a memory he'll have from his senior year. I mean, I don't know what else. 2 fumble recoveries. What else can you ask for? That defensive touchdown just seals the deal. Brad Graves. Brad Graves didn't see a lot of time. He was kind of just that somebody's down, go in for a play or two. But he did his job, and that's what we asked for him. I hope he got a quality education. He's going to go out and get a good job, and he's going to do something for his future family. Ryan Green. I'm sure that I've cursed at Ryan Green from Lufkin, Texas a lot. 51 tackles this last year, 140 total in his 4 years. He played all 4 years. That is pretty miraculous. 4 quarterback sacks early on in his career. 2 interceptions both these last years. Had a defensive touchdown. Lots of pass deflections, forced fumbles. We struggled in the secondary, but with 51 tackles, when they did break through, he was there to stop them. Jason Greco, another one, senior, leaving us. 72 total tackles, 5 for a loss, had a sack, 4 interceptions, numerous pass deflections. Again, our secondary, I yelled at them a lot, but these two guys, they've been there. They've helped develop younger players. That's all you can ask for. Daniel Hollis, right end. 21 tackles, 8 for a loss, 3 sacks. When the dude got in there, he made plays. Cortez Wilson from Waxahachie, Texas. This dude, 23 out of 24 in his career. And I think the only one he missed was like super long. But when it counted, he was there. He's finishing with a 96% field goal make rating. That's awesome. Didn't miss a single extra point. 41 touchbacks on kickoff. The dude just launched it and said, you're not going to run it back. That's amazing. That right there is an awesome stat. Wade Lane. Wade Lane from Dade City, Florida. Dude come in, made some plays for us. We utilized him way more the first year that he was playing when he was a junior. You could see from the yardage. But he was more on a blocking scheme this year to help us out, to help negate the sacking issue that we had with Justin Horn. And I don't think that shows that, but you can see his stats here. 4 touchdowns over his career, 375 yards. So he played the part. Next two guys here on the list, Corey Horn and Michael Fitzpatrick. Very limited action. But, you know, they've been here for a number of years. They are from local, Mission, Texas, and Richland Hills. So even though they didn't play a lot, they were on the team, valuable parts of the practice squad. All right, so that is our 11 departing players. I mean, obviously the biggest hit to us is Justin Horn. And I feel like we've raised him, but it's now time to set him out in the world. It's a surreal thing to think about. Interestingly enough, I looked on the 2017 draft, which this class would go to. In the 6th round, the only team to draft a quarterback was the Detroit Lions. They drafted Brad Kava. Never heard of him. I'm leaning to think that Justin Horn would be much better and make a much bigger impact than that dude would. But who would know? His history is being written somewhere else after this. Let's move on. All right, let's see if it happened. Let's see if Justin Horn did indeed get drafted. He did. He went. Justin Horn went in the 6th round. So I'm guessing that Justin Horn is now a Detroit Lion. For better or worse. At least he'll get to learn behind Matthew Stafford. That is pretty awesome. That is our first drafted player. And for it to be Justin Horn, that is pretty awesome. See if we have any transfer requests coming down the pipe. I seriously doubt it. Oh, there's one. Middle linebacker from South Carolina. I don't think that he'll see a lot of playing time. He had 1 tackle. But you know, he's from South Carolina. Oh, is he from South Carolina? It doesn't have anything here. He's got a lot of acceleration. I mean, we'll probably take him. He may not make the team. I know that sounds bad. But, yeah, I guess we'll admit him. All right, so we're at the final recruiting for these players here before the offseason or during the offseason, and honestly, I don't think we have any needs for the team. Watch, as soon as I say that, we'll go here and it'll say, "Oh, you got a need here." No, I mean we're pretty filled up. Looks like we could use some athletes. I don't think I got any of those. We got a lot of C's across the board. Tackles are an F. Mostly because they're all seniors. So we could pick up a young tackle, maybe, if I see that. We've got a young quarterback, young halfback. We don't have really young fullbacks, but there's nobody I really see on this board right now that I want to like commit a lot to. Maybe this 72 halfback, that would be legit. We're in the lead for him. Anything, you know, bonus wideouts. But I mean, our class is pretty set. So if we lost Kevin Washington, not a big deal. I don't even have a tackle on the board. We got an athlete here. That shows you how much I was looking for that. Maybe I go back out and look for a tackle, throw some points at him, and just go from there. All right, I did the big no-no, spread my points out too thin. Like I said, a lot of these players are bonus players. We've already filled our needs, so if we get them, that's great. If we don't, we move on. I did go down at the bottom, and I did throw on 2 tackles. Offered them scholarships. They may commit, they may not. I mean, there's nothing really left, obviously, at this point of the year, so we'll have to make do, maybe move some players around. But this is what we're going to go with, so yeah. We'll see what happens. Well, ask and ye shall receive. Zach Patrick, that halfback that I took a chance on, has committed to our team. Larry Marks, left end. That is actually really nice. Wonder if we can convert him over. PJ Joseph, free safety. Great bonus there. And it looks like a lot of other players went to other schools. We lost a guy to Ohio State. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Purdue, good school there. LSU, yeah. I'm okay with that. I am not going to worry about it one bit. Just looking at these 3 recruits here, I fill out my sheet as we go, and I've told you all this before. Zach Patrick is he'll be the 3rd best, depending on recruiting, the 3rd best halfback. So maybe redshirting him will be something amazing, because he could be definitely a halfback of the future, and it saves us from doing that. Looking at the other 2 players, left in, we already signed a 4-star left in at 70. This guy is 71, so he is a bonus. We actually, on our defensive line, we've recruited 2 left ends, 2 right ends, and 2 defensive tackles. Now, Larry Marks, at 71 is the 3rd best defensive lineman we've recruited. We had a 4-star Caleb Benson right end at 80, which I don't know what his ceiling is, but 80 sounds amazing. Stephen Rust is 70, and then Larry Marks. So he's the 2nd best. That's a big pickup there. Our defensive line is going to be loaded for the next few years. And that is something we've not really had for a while. We've had great players, but we didn't have backups to come in when they got tired. Looking at PJ there, PJ Joseph, with our free safeties, we have a lot of free safeties on the team. But he immediately jumps up to the middle of the pack. And redshirting him could pave the way. But again, I've not looked at what all else we have at the moment, but it's a lot. Holy crap, we have signed the #1 class. Coach Conquest has went above and beyond the Call of Duty for this. That is freaking amazing. I did not think that we would get the #1 class. I'm kind of amazed to forward this and look at our entire class. Boom, there you have it. Look at that. We didn't sign any 5-star players, but we have 13. I typed this in. 13 4-stars, 10 3-stars, and 1 2-star. We got 24 total recruits. That is crazy. A defensive end, a cornerback, and defensive end, a halfback. Oh my God, Zach Patrick jumps up there on that list. Wide receiver and a cornerback. We've definitely broadened our secondary, and that was something we really needed to work on. And I'm kind of excited about that now, that we have brought them up. But that's exciting. And Zach Patrick there is just a bonus at running back. Achievement unlocked. Best class ever. All right, so we're going to do position changes here. This may take me a minute because I always freaking go into this. There's our man. There's Brian Jones. He's obviously going to be our quarterback, but I'm going to have to move players around based on the recruiting, and I set up a whole new spreadsheet. So there'll be a little bit of time involved in this. Usually I stop the recording and go into it. I really get way into this way too much, but that's just what I do. So I shall return. I'll be right back. All right, position changes are set. I didn't really change a lot. We got a senior-laden squad. We have 14 seniors, 12 of them who right now before training start. Now, with training, I know there'll be some moving and grooving. We're not sure. One thing I did notice that's kind of terrifying is we've got Brian Jones, but if he goes down, which I'm not hoping he does, he is from Snowflake, but we've got a 75 overall quarterback to come in after him. So maybe this year I do need to go after a quarterback because we'll need somebody underneath him learning. All right, this is one of my favorite parts is the training results. And I'm so excited to see what happens here. Oh my God. Brian Jones, divine intervention. He is freaking 99 overall.
Wow.
I really thought we were going to be dependent on the run this year because Brian Jones would need some, a year to grow. He's 7 overall growth. His awareness goes up to 86. Oh my Lord. What do we got stat-wise here at the end? Throw power, 97. Throw accuracy, 98. Oh my God, I've got to change my pants. I did not expect that. Oh my God, I did not expect that. I did not. Oh my Lord. And John McCoy, 92 overall. Darren Thomas is 92 overall, jump 6. Oh my God, we're going to have a dual threat at halfback. Sean Burnett and Roberson both getting in to the 90s as freaking junior and senior. Oh my God. Okay. We'll look at this position by position. This is freaking amazing. So looking at our quarterback. So Brian Jones is obviously the stud. What does comfort me a little bit is Trey George went up to an 80. So if something, God willing, nothing happens. If something does happen, Trey George can maybe step in for a couple of plays and do some things. Halfback, John McCoy and freaking Darren Thomas both jumping up to 92s. That is freaking amazing. Darren Thomas has the speed. John McCoy has the strength, obviously. Acceleration goes to John McCoy. I think John McCoy, you got to remember, Darren Thomas is a sophomore. So if he doesn't play this year, he's going to get in. We're going to run some plays for him, just like we did last year. Breaking tackles, they both look amazing. The trucking ability is much different. Thomas, and that might have been the issue last year. John McCoy runs through people. Darren Thomas hits people and falls down. But he's elusive. So if he gets to that outside edge. So both of these guys are very different. You can look up there. John McCoy's a power back. Thomas was a speed back. But now he's balanced. So he's been bulking up. Spin move and juke move for Thomas. So yeah, we just got to get him out there and get him to do things. We got to utilize them in two very different ways. Let's not forget about our boy Eric Cochran down there putting in some work. 74 overall, could probably start for a lot of teams out there. I never want to see these guys get in unless it's like you're killing time, but he's putting the work in. Both Dylan Lee and Curtis Brown doing a lot of work. Dylan Lee almost up to 80 as a fullback. Might have to utilize, again, running a lot more this year because we've got some guys who can do short yardage plays. I'm very excited about that. His breaking tackles, 72. What's his trucking's 82? Not bad. Looking at our studs of wide receivers, Burnett and Roberson standing out there. Look at Darryl Brown. Darryl Brown stepped in last year as a freshman and did amazing work for us. Brad Kennery is up to 99 acceleration. Brad Kennery is going to be seen less and less on the field, I believe, as a wide receiver, and he's just a return specialist. This dude, I'm hoping, gets drafted, and he's the next Devin Hester. That's all I'm seeing. So we've got Burnett and Roberson on the outside. Darryl Brown's going to be in your slot, and then Kennery will come in sometimes, and probably Chuck Denman to spread the load. Just look at these speeds. Roberson's 99 as well. Just freaking amazing. The awareness is different. Roberson, who made some amazing plays last year, he's showing that he's a senior stud with that 90 awareness. The rest of the wide receiver crew are kind of a little on that. Elusiveness, Burnett, good Lord, 95. We're going to have to put that to the test. Just going through here, just looking at some of their plays. Brad Kennery, 90 spin move. Definitely need to do that on the kickoff. Junk move rating. Burnett again up there on that. And just going through here so you can see some of our top 4 guys and some of the other ones. Yeah, Daryl Brown's amazing at route running. So is Roberson. It shows. It really does show. That's pretty awesome. So I'm very excited about that. With a 99 quarterback, we're definitely going to have targets to run to. I will say with these speeds, I think that cornerbacks will keep up with them. So it will be up to the routes that they run to make the plays. Both Johnny Walker and Taylor Shaw put in a lot of work. Johnny Walker jumping up to an 80 overall. His awareness went up into the 90s. That is freaking amazing. Taylor Shaw back there is a sophomore, just watching him do work, and he's just trying to emulate it, and it's just it's making sense. I want to see what his catching in traffic rating is, because his catching rating's 81. Spectacular catching is only 64. I don't know if I believe that. Catch in traffic, 84. That is why the dude could make some of those catches he did last year. Johnny Walker, he's going to be a CTE candidate because he took some noggin shots that just were not healthy. Good moves here for Cliff Hines. Going to a 77 overall. He'll be able to protect that left side. That is going to be very nice for us. Same things for Joe Jones. Joe Jones freaking putting in some work. Moving up to 83 overall. 5. Bolingbrook, Illinois. Dude's built tough, ready to go. Bobby Norton, look at this guy. I swear that he's had like the 2-year biggest turnaround like for growth. I swear he was like in the 70s or maybe the 60s, and he jumped up into the 70s, and now he's in the mid 80s. This dude over the last 2 years is, and maybe I'm just making that up, but I really feel like we said that, and I was shocked by him before. He has really come on his own. And look at Brian Gay right behind him, 79 overall. You love to see the growth. You love to see it. Ricky Jacobs going from 74 to 79. That is awesome. Kyle Brown moving up to 72. That redshirt season he had last year really helped. Well, I haven't marked redshirt. I guess he wasn't redshirted. Oh well, mistakes were made. Looking at right tackle, Zach Jackson, the senior, 81 overall. And the coach's son, look at Chad Broussard, 72 overall, doing some work. Still hasn't grown some hair. I understand, big man, 307 pounds. It's hard to grow that hair. Looking at the defensive side of the ball. Left end, Darius Fields jumping up into the 80s. 83, and Frank Rankin right behind him. Good Lord. 83, 82, 75. Did not expect that kind of result. Right in, again, Dawson. We said he had to put some work in. He got up to 79. That's going to be close to that Caleb Benson, who was an 80. So we may have to look at their stats and see who gets the start. But Galloway, I went up there and knocked on his door in Georgetown, and he was working out in the yard. So he's ready to step in if needed. Jermaine Hughes almost breaking 90 right before his senior year. If he does well during the year, I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to eclipse that. But we're rocking with 83, 89, 79 on our defensive line. And then Sean Young coming in here, 82 when we bring in 2 defensive tackles. Yeah, we're going to be loaded on that side. The quarterbacks on the opposing side are really going to be hit. Anthony White jumping up as a sophomore to 82. Dallas, Texas, building them strong right now. Winsboro, Louisiana also. Joey Richard, he's ready to back him up in case something happens. Looking at middle linebacker. Look at that. What did I say? TJ Manning, 75 overall. Bailey did put some work in. He's up there, +5, so they both did the same. And then we got Mark Davis down here, 71. So our middle linebacker core is ready to pop some people. I think Manning, what did he pick up here? Speed. His acceleration's amazing. That's why he really worked on his awareness. 60 is much better than 55. That was one of his weaknesses last year. And I think now that he's got that speed and some better awareness, he'll be in good shape. JD Carter, love to watch this stud develop. 90 overall. You got Caleb Evans here behind him, 78. And then Wilkerson, 62. Not a bad backup. Again, awareness for JD Carter's 85. Excel is 89. Man, look at Caleb Evans. He's got some speed too. Run stopper and coverage. So we might have to utilize him in both ways. Looking at our cornerbacks, look at Brandon Fritz. And you all know exactly which thing I'm going to look at to see if he developed it. Brandon Fritz, 86, 94 overall. Look at the guys in lieu of him. We got a junior and 2 sophomores there. The 2 sophomores looking amazing. His agility's good. His 85 excel. We're not going to be too bad on the other side with Anthony Morris. 94 excel, 87 speed, so he's a tad slower as our 2 cornerback. His awareness is hurt. They both really worked on that. Fritz, you have 95 awareness. So my question is, did you work on your catching ability? Because that's what I need to know. Oh, you can carry the ball. That's great, Fritz. That's great. But you know what? 75. You put 1 work into it. Oh my God. I don't even know what I'm going to do with these guys. This is why the corners are in danger of maybe being. Actually, Anthony Morris, he may not be playing that 2 spot over there. We may be putting one of the freshmen, depending on how they come into the system. Good work here by our free safeties. Troy Cameron, I think, is going to be an amazing stud this year as a senior. 83 overall. His acceleration's 88, awareness of 81. Schneider is faster than him and has better excel. That's something to keep in mind. Schneider will probably come out there when we need the additional player on the field running our coverage defense. Looking at their catching ability, yeah, both of them's in good shape for that. So I think that worked out. It was beneficial to how we train them. Randy Booth, freaking 89 overall. I did not think that he would jump that much. That is crazy good that he did that. I'm sitting here filling out these numbers and I'm just amazed at our strong safeties. They're a little bit slower except for Phil Harris down here. His excel is 93. So yeah, I think it'll be between Phil Harris and then looking over Terrell Schneider on who will be out there as the other defensive back when we put more out there. Then again, if we run the 6 one on some of the stuff, both of them may be out there for coverage. And that's kind of what we needed. Kicker overall, look at David Carter. I mean, David Carter comes in, does +6. He's an 80 overall kicker now. So what did he improve? I wrote his stats down earlier. He was 80 power, 70 accuracy. So what does he change that to? 86 power, 77 accuracy. I think we're going to be able to kick some really long field goals this year if we need to. He's bringing much... Cortez Wilson had the accuracy, but I think Carter is going to bring it to a whole new level. Looking at our punters, these guys may not be on the team, though I will say overall 81 is much better than Pickens was 77. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't know what I'm going to do. I said earlier that I was just going to cut them. Let's see what this development is here. All right, one now is, what do we got? Aaron Jones is 79 power, 84. That is still lower. Well, his accuracy is higher than Fred Pickens as a freshman, but his power is 7 less. Tyson Stevens, 89 power, which does surpass Fred Pickens. His accuracy, though, is higher as well. So Tyson Stevens as a sophomore is better. So right now, Aaron Jones is getting cut, which is accurate, which is up there. Stevens has a power. I don't know what it will do. We'll have to think about that. But that's some good development. I'm very excited about this. We have options. All right, we got to go in here and cut players. We'll see what happens. Wow. We have to cut 14 players. That's a lot of players to cut. This is going to take me a bit. I'm going to have to strategically think about this, because if there's just some players that are, say, a junior or sophomore and they're lower than some of the incoming freshmen, we're probably going to get rid of them just for the fact that they're not going to develop any higher. It's probably some of those old 2-star people left on the team. But cutting 14, I did not think that was going to have to happen. A lot of those secondary players are probably going to get cut. That's where I'll start. And then have to go from there. I'll just tell you all straight up where I'm going to start. I'll start with free safeties, then strong safeties, then probably wide receivers. And even then, that's going to be kind of crazy going from there. All right, I'll see you all when I get to that point. All right, all the cuts have been made. That was tough. I had to get rid of some of the recruits. I did weed out players that were like juniors that were one ahead of like freshmen, incoming freshmen and redshirted freshmen. So their growth is obviously not going to be there. Some of the recruits that just had like, there was a couple that just had decent stats, but then their awareness was like 40. So I dropped them. But the majority of players were just where we were overburdened with free safeties and strong safeties. So a lot of those players that just didn't see play time and have been on the team for the last 2 years, cut them, made room for new guys. We're just going to have to be more tactful this year when we recruit about what we need and go after high-profile players. This year we got a lot of players, so there was going to be a lot of recruits that just didn't make the team because they just weren't good enough. So here we are. We've made it to the part where Texas State has been invited to a new conference. There was a lot of debate between all this. I was told right off the bat, SEC is not an option. I agree with that. Big Ten, not an option. And then there was a lot of fight about the Big 12, ACC for some reason. I don't think ACC that doesn't make sense. The Big 12 does geographically make sense. We are in Texas. There's a lot of teams there. But then like there were some people that was really arguing about the Pac-12, saying that's the next logical thing, that the Pac-12 will want to reach over into Texas. And that would give us a higher tier conference and maybe prove ourselves to move up. That maybe we're not ready for the Texases and the Florida States and the like. I'm going to go in here and set the conferences and we'll see where we're heading. As you can see, we are no longer in the Sun Belt Conference. Other teams to move during this. A team has left the Mountain West. I think actually 2 teams left the Mountain West. The only independent team we have left is Notre Dame. They're number 1 in the country. A team has moved from the MAC. You can see Idaho over there in Division B of the American. And the place that the Texas State Bobcats are moving to. After lots of debate, I decided the next logical step would be the Pac-12. We are now in the South Conference of the Pac-12. As you can see over there in the north, they have added Tulsa into the North Conference. The game has flip-flopped around, though. Arizona is a ranked team. Tulsa is a ranked team. We are a ranked team. We are in USC, UCLA, their conference. Arizona, obviously, is going to be a tough game. And then we'll have a championship game to try to go maybe a shot at the Rose Bowl or the title game. Conference rules have not changed. I think this is a logical step for us. I think it will help us in recruiting, getting some of the 5- and 4-star players. And it was something that people argued about. And it made sense, and I decided to go with it. So we are now a member of the Pac-12. All right, I'm going to kind of go through and look at the recruiting board. I won't spend much time on this because you could change it during that first week. Looking at our needs, it's everything that I kind of hinted at earlier. Tackles, we'll need some of them. We've got 3 graduating, so I'll probably target 2 really good ones of those. Maybe 3, because we need to fill both sides. Quarterback, I mentioned that directly, that we need to find somebody. Other positions I want to improve on is the guard and fullback, just in case. Defensively, we really only need a couple of tackles, so I'll look for that. I don't think I made any other notes. Oh, right outside linebacker. I want to try to find an outside linebacker. So we don't have a lot. So again, this year it's going to be really interesting. We got a lot of scholarships to offer, but We are bottom heavy, only 6 seniors defensively, it looks like, and 8 offensively. So most of our team is undergrads, and well, they're all undergrads. I mean, even the seniors, but I meant under senior level, getting ready to graduate. So that's nice. So overall, we just need 4 players. So I'll target really high level ones and put them on the list. All right, so I set up the recruiting board. It's going to be very fluid at the start of the year, as always. I've got a couple of quarterbacks, obviously some tackles through here. I went through, found that one gym. A couple guys went up. I did find a number of busts, so I went ahead and just removed them from the list. We don't have time for that nonsense, even though they were people that really wanted to play for us. But you can see I'm going through real quick. It's really going to change. I put a number of athletes who were interested in us, but I just didn't have the points to scout for them to find out what positions they could play. And again, we don't need a lot of positions. We had to cut 14 this last season, so I'm going to be very selective about who we get, who we accept, and we'll go from there. All right, so just to highlight a few things that have changed just in our school is looking down the list. Obviously, the number one is our campus prestige changed. We went to a much better conference. We ranked up from a C- to a B. So a little bit of a jump there. Actually, we went through C, C+, and then B-, and then B. So yeah, that was a big jump. Another thing that went up was our athletic facilities. We went up to a C+. Have a success on the field and you get better athletic facilities. I guess that makes sense. We've been having a little bit more success. Championship contender. This one went up to an A-. I was actually in shock about this, and you can look down there. It's our projected rankings. I got us 37th right now, but they say we'll be 9th next year, maybe crack the top 10. So the future is very bright for us. And then our pro potential went up, and that's probably because of our drafted player. We had one player drafted in the 4th to 7th round, so I'll take that. One thing did drop, and that was our stadium atmosphere. And I'm not sure why. Because I feel like maybe it's because we were on the road so much for certain games, and when we did play at home, it was against teams that beat us. So that did take a slight hit. That may change this year. I don't know. All right, so going through the depth chart here, it's who we redshirted. Zach Patrick, I decided to redshirt him just to give him some separation of these guys up here. Unless we land like a 5-star pick. Eric Cochran was a 4-star. Zach Patrick's a 4-star. We really don't need anybody in that aspect. Going through the list here, Norton down here, I thought it would be a good idea to redshirt him. Again, just to give him another year of development. We've got so many wide receivers. I don't want to waste it. I doubt Matt Johnson here even sees the field. But just in case, we did have 2 injuries last year. We're going to keep all the tight ends active. If anybody's in the 60s, I don't think it's worth redshirting them. Just let them play and get experience if they need it. In some positions, we couldn't redshirt the backup, so that's the case. Ernest Wesley here, I did redshirt him just because these guys are higher up. We're going to just have Kyle Brown next year, and I think that year of development will help him out. I thought about the same thing here, but with 2 seniors, I want to have Justin Gray ready to go. Stephen Rust, I decided to redshirt him. Again, just for the separation fact, ends are hard to come by, so I want to keep a staggering. We'd have a senior next year, a sophomore, and then a freshman. Turner at 65, I just didn't think it was worth doing that for him. The same for Parker. We've had 3 defensive tackles on the field before, and we might need that backup, so I'm going to leave him active. Left outside linebacker, Jeremy Hill, redshirted him, give him some development. He's very close to 70. I don't think that between Anthony White and Joey Richard, we'll need somebody else out there. Middle linebacker, I did the same thing with Mark Davis, just to give him some separation. He's a Willis here, I don't know if he'll be on the team next year. We'll see if he gets out there. But with Manning and Bailey being juniors, it may not happen. And I think as you go through, when I decided to redshirt him because we've got enough cornerbacks, he's going to be a deadly weapon in the future, but that future is not right now. And the rest of the stuff is the same. All right, it's the part y'all love to see, custom schedules. Let's go in here and see what we got. So the game obviously hates me. This is what it has it set up for. FCS West, Texas Tech, number 21 Michigan. Then we go into our conference schedule at USC, at Oregon State, number 25 Oregon, number 24 UCLA, number 18 Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah, and then they throw number 1 Notre Dame on there. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 ranked teams on our schedule. All right, I think our schedule is set. This is a cheeky schedule. Now, I'll tell you why, because you're going to see why here in a minute. We're strength of schedule B+. I think that's pretty good. We're going to be facing a whole new slew of foes this year in a different conference. Every time I tried to regenerate, it kept throwing Cincinnati up here. And the more I thought about this, I thought this was an interesting game. So Cincinnati will be coming to Texas to play us. Then we go on the road. It's a short road trip north to Nebraska. I thought that was interesting. Mississippi State. So an SEC team does get on the list. Then we go into, so that's a very interesting set of first 3 games. We're going to learn a lot about ourselves. Then eventually we immediately go on the road to USC. Then on the road to Oregon State. We get 2 ranked teams back-to-back if they stand that way. Oregon and UCLA. Actually, 3 ranked teams, excuse me. At Arizona. We come home for Arizona State. We go on the road to Utah. We then get Utah at home. And check out this game it threw in right before championship week. Texas State at Army. Which you all know we've had some really good games against Army. There could be a lot on the line there. And then I just think that's an interesting non-conference game thrown in there at the end. And I guess that's supposed to be rivalry week. And I like that. Because Army, since they come there into the to our conference, they cause some issues. And we played them really tough. It's always been interesting. We did win big last year, 38-17, but it's always a slugfest. So I think that will be a good game. So I like this schedule. This is a tough schedule. It's going to show a lot about our team and our new players. So I come in here just to throw in these points for our coordinators, and I just realized something. Coach Conquest has the ability to get insta-commit. You gain a 5% chance of insta-commit when you offer a scholarship. That is big. That is big. If we can get some of those early, oh my God, we're going to be on a roll. This is what we've been working for. All right, I set our offensive coordinator up to really help us with carrying over here a little bit, but his predominant is our quarterbacks gain throw power and throw accuracy and pass blocking for our line, because that's going to be our game plan, I believe. Hopefully Chad Dorsey knows what he's walking into, and hopefully he can lead us to success on the offensive side of the ball. All right, that brings us here. Let's hit start season and get ready to go for another year. The first thing I checked was the preseason poll to see where we're at, and they've got us overall B+. Our offense is an A+, defense B+, C+ special teams. I don't know if I agree with that, but we are 37th in the rankings. Our schedule is set up and ready to go. I don't know why we're ranked so low. I'm not a fan of that. Whatever. They've got us predicted to finish 4th in our conference behind the 2 ranked teams and then USC, which makes sense. These are big boys. I mean, we are a 4-star prestige. USC is 5. UCLA is 1 before, and so is Arizona. So, interesting. What's the other half of the Pac-12 look like? And what about overall? What do they have us? 6th best team. We're just on the wrong side, I guess. But that's okay. That's a challenge. All right, preseason All-Americans. Just scroll down through. I honestly thought that one of our quarterbacks, Darius Fields, I was thinking him. Darius Fields is an All-American preseason. He finished last year as an All-American, so it makes sense. Jermaine Hughes. Interesting. He was a second-team All-American at the end of last season, so they moved him up the first string this year. TJ Manning. My God. Look at TJ Manning. First team All-American last year, preseason All-NCAA All-American this year. And then Randy Booth. Wow, Randy Booth. He was not even an All-American last year, and he's on the preseason list. Congrats to him. And Brad Kennery, obviously. Brad Kennery, definitely first-team All-American last year, and he's on the list this year. We'll see what kind of output he has. Nobody on the second team. So let's check out our all-conference. First team all-conference, all Pac-12. Oh, this is different. So we're not all Sun Belt now. It's the all Pac-12. Sean Burnett up there, the junior from Crystal, Minnesota. I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. Darius Fields, makes sense. You know, if you're on one, Jermaine Hughes, okay, TJ Manning. JD Carter's up there on outside linebacker. Randy Booth, and then I'm going to guess, Brad Kennery is the returner. Let's see, second team. Oh, we got Darryl Brown. They've got high hopes for him, all Pac-12. And then I can see we're kind of a little bland there. So we got a lot to prove. And I'm going to go ahead and end it right here. Look at that headline. Air pressure. Texas State will go as far as Jones's arm takes them in 2017. The team is Brian Jones's. Coach Conquest has put this together over the course of the last 3-4 years. We're in a bigger, better conference. We've got some bigger, better opponents coming at us. We'll see what we can do. Off screen, I'm going to mess with recruiting, see if we get some insta commits with 5%. You usually get 1 or 2 per year. I don't know. We'll see. Have to be very meticulous on who I offer scholarships to. Let me know in the comments what kind of offense you'd like to see this year with the Bobcats. Obviously, we're going to throw a lot. We've got a great quarterback. We've got a great receiving core, but we've also got weapons. But I'm always looking for what playbooks you all like to see. And if you're one of those people that break them down, like on Operation Sports, let me know. I'd love to hear where I need to dive into and find some other plays. We've been kind of stale the last couple of years on that. I'd like to switch it up and run some other things. I don't like running plays that are cheesy. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that do that they do the same plays over and over. I try not to do that. I do run crossovers a lot, but I don't tend to run my quarterback out of the pocket if he's a pocket passer because that's what he is. But with that said, we're ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. We're going to have a bye week. We can get some the depth chart in order and recruiting. And as always, thanks for watching. Leave your comments. Sorry this took so long to get this video out. Real life happens. Hope you all are staying safe during this quarantine, and I will see you all next time. Good night, Bobcat Nation.